guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel. Okay guys, it's Michelle, Deception Bytes, and I am back. It is Tuesday, March 26th, and it's 10:09 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, unfortunately, Q has been posting a lot today, and I had some unexpected things come up today. I have just got home. I actually haven't even eaten or anything, but I wanted to get this done and out of the way because I know that a lot of you do look for the drops, and especially when you know that Q has been out there posting. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get to the 26th post because there are too many for me to be able to decode tonight and then record. But I am going to clean up the couple posts from yesterday that we missed, and then I'm going to go into some Q-related news. And then tomorrow, I am going to catch us up with everything that we missed today, these posts that Q has posted today, and if he posts again tomorrow, the 27th, which would not surprise me. There's so much going on, so much, and I feel like I'm kind of out of the loop right now because I've been gone the entire day and have just been rushed off my feet today. So anyway, let's get into this, and at least we will get up to date on some news anyway, and get caught up with the posts that we missed from yesterday, which are just a couple. And from yesterday, we're looking at this post. This is, Q has left us two links to a Twitter account, which we're going to go out and look at now. And beneath these, he has put hashtag fake, fake, fake. So, whatever they are, we know they're fake. I hope you're all doing well. I feel kind of rushed just because I just basically came in the door, set this up, and started. So I hope that that doesn't transmit to you guys because you know what, you guys have probably been working all day too and just want to relax. So I'll try to breathe deeply and calm myself. All right, breaking. The Pentagon has notified Congress that it has authorized the transfer of $1 billion to begin new wall construction along the U.S.-Mexico border. Now, that's odd that Q would say fake to this. Not sure why he would do that. It says breaking, the Pentagon has notified Congress it has authorized the transfer of $1 billion to begin new wall construction along the U.S.-Mexico border. Interesting. Let's see if we can gain any clues here. I love this. Q sent me volume 1111. Love it. And the man who saved America, Trump. You can say that again. Notice how in Twitter, really weird things going on with Twitter, guys. Good things, because a lot of things that were happening are no longer happening. The bad things, shadow banning, stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe Jack's running scared. What do you think? Perhaps. Anyway, and then it says no collusion, $1 billion for the wall, Avenatti arrested, too much winning. Yeah, too much winning. All right, then let's go back to Q. Maybe Q is meaning that it's fake that they haven't provided money for the wall because from what I understand, Trump vetoed it, and then they tried to rule against that, and they lost. So the wall's the wall's happening, guys. It's happening. Doesn't matter what the Democrats want. It's going up. Now, let's click on this. Ann Coulter, who, okay, I won't say that. Sometimes you think things in your mind and you want to say them, but it's best not to. All right. She's not my favorite. Okay, no collusion and no wall. I'd prefer collusion and a wall. Well, I'd prefer that you shut up. But hey, we don't all get what we want, do we? So anyway, Ann Coulter, not impressed. Not impressed at all with her. Not at all. All right, so let's go back. So these are the two Twitter that Q has linked to, and he says hashtag fake, fake, fake Q. Then we have this picture, which I love because to me, this is just a picture of small town America to me. That embodies small town America. Patriots, and the picture says flags out, have a great night, Q. And I love that. I always love that on the 4th of July and going through some of the small towns and up into the mountains and so forth on drives and seeing all the flags. I loved it. I just loved it. I loved the 4th of July, and I have promised myself that if at all possible I can get my immigration worked out, I am going to be in the States for the 4th of July. I want to celebrate with everyone, and I'd like to go to Washington, D.C. I haven't been there for a long time, and I just want to be there and experience the celebrations, and hopefully some of you guys will be there as well, and you never know, we might be able to meet up. So there you go. All right, let's go on. Now, this is referring to, actually, I'm not sure, but it says fake news media passed bread for 589-4473. 589-4473. Where are we here? Well, I'm not sure what that is referring to tell you the truth. But whatever it's referring to, it's fake media. So, I mean, hey, there you go. It says past bread, so it's obviously something that we've looked at in the past. And then we are on to the 26th from there, which I have not had a chance to go through and decode and understand myself yet because I haven't even had a chance to read through it. So I certainly don't want to be just reading you the posts. That's not what I'm about. There's lots of other channels that do that, and I'm certainly not, you know, I mean, some people just want that. They want someone to read the post to them, and they can come to their own whatever. I like to read them, understand them, and discuss them, and that's just what I'm about. So I'm going to wait until tomorrow and do it properly, if you guys don't mind. Well, I guess it doesn't matter because it's too late now for me anyway. So even if you do mind, I'm sorry. Okay, now let's jump into some Q-related news because there's some interesting things happening. Interesting things happening. Yes. Now, some of this I have collected over the last few days and haven't had a chance to bring it because of the amount of the drops. And so some of it is old news by now. For example, this first one about Michael Avenatti being charged, that's old news. I think probably everyone, unless you've been living under a rock or unless you've been extremely busy at work or with kids or whatever, then you've probably heard that news. But let's go down to this. Donald J. Trump, don't look at me like that. You ate my lifesavers. Don't look at me like that. Yeah, my lifesavers. The kitten. Alrighty. The special counsel did not find that the Trump campaign or anyone associated with conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in these efforts, despite multiple offers from Russian-affiliated individuals to assist the Trump campaign. Yeah, don't you love it? Not only did they find no collusion, which we knew a long time ago, but he's exonerated. There's no more indictments coming out of this at all. It's over. But, you know, we may all drown in a tsunami of liberal tears because I'm telling you, that's all we're hearing is whining, complaining, and crying. Yeah. I've worried about that. I've bought some water wings for the cats in case there is an actual tsunami of liberal tears. And, and I've got a blow up boat. So I think I'm okay. I've tied down, the deck chairs and stuff. So, I don't actually have deck chairs, but if I did, I'd tie them down. I used to have deck chairs when I lived in the South, but not here. Nobody wants to sit out when it's like minus 30 degrees. All right. So let's go on. Now, here's John Brennan, who really always looks like he's badly constipated. Really, he does. I'm not sure what that is. But look at this man. Does that not look like somebody that's extremely constipated? Really? Like,
Senate, though. Joining us now, President Trump's private attorney, Jay Sekulow. And Jay, 5 days ago, the president said...
We didn't want to listen to that. Okay, let's go back up here. Oh, there's so much news. Really, literally, I could probably do 5 videos just on Q-related news. And I'm hoping to have more time in the next couple days. Today was kind of busy. I had to actually get some things done, but I'm hoping to have more time, and I do have a lot of stuff to bring and that I need to bring because it's important stuff. All right, the DC Patriot. LOL. John Brennan. I received bad information. Yeah, did you now? Really? That excuse wouldn't even work for grade school. Really. Like, it's like the dog ate my homework. John Brennan, who used to be the head of the Central Intelligence Agency, is now telling his colleagues over on MSNBC that he may have received bad information. Always good to know that the guy who used to run the CIA gets bad info and gets it wrong. Very reassuring of Mr. Brennan, isn't it? No. Well, I don't know if I received bad information, but I think I suspected there was more there than there actually was. I'm relieved that it's been determined that there was not a criminal conspiracy with the Russian government over our election. Yeah, right, sure he is. I still point to things that were done publicly or efforts to try to have our conversations with the Russians that were inappropriate, but I'm not all that surprised that the high bar of criminal conspiracy was not met. I am surprised that the second part of obstruction of justice in terms of how it came out. I don't know whether or not Bob Mueller wanted the Attorney General to pronounce on that issue, whether or not Bob Mueller felt it was best for Congress and the American public to determine whether the weight of the information indicates whether Donald Trump did try to obstruct justice. There are some surprises there. That's what I think getting to the full Mueller report is the best way to get some of these, if not all of these questions answered. He's a piece of work, isn't he? Still, they were all looking at Mueller. They were all holding him up on this high pedestal, how he was going to topple Trump, how Trump was coming down, how his kids were going to jail. Oh, it was so bad. And Mueller, he was the god that they all looked to bring down Trump. But then when they found out that he had not found any collusion, now all of a sudden it's, maybe the case just wasn't strong enough. Or maybe, they always have excuses, always. They're never going to say, you know what, I'm sorry. And you know why? Because they've known all along that Trump was innocent. They've known all along. Now, there may be a few of them that don't. No, there may be a few of them that really did believe that, this Mueller report would bring something substantial. But for the majority of them, for those in the know, for the criminal politicians, Democrat, they knew. Sure they knew. So, I don't know whether or not Bob Mueller wanted the Attorney General to pronounce on that issue. Did I read that or not? Oh, yes. Yes, I did read it. Well, one never knows. So, there you go. And I love this picture of John Brennan. He looks like he might have dropped something. I'm just saying. In his pants. All right. Let's go back. I didn't say that with my outside voice, did I? Yeah. All right, let's go on. I'm hearing a lot of crunching and crinkling, and I'm wondering what the kitten is into now. I thought I had moved everything that he could get into, but now it makes me wonder. All right, well, it'll be a surprise for later. Yeah, okay. Now, educating liberals. Another good person to follow on Twitter. What an amazing day. The president exonerated. Avenatti going to prison. AOC in trouble for not paying her taxes. And Senator Graham calling for a special counsel to go after the left. God is good. Couldn't agree more. could not agree more. Anybody now that's saying nothing is happening is out there somewhere, because I don't know how you could look at everything that's happening and say nothing is happening. All right, I can't remember what this is, but oh heck, let's go take a look at it anyway. Watch this. Democrats, if you're still confused and delusional, watch it again. D. Bongino is right on with an exclamation point. There was never any evidence. It was fake news from the start. Don't be full of shiff. Get over it. At Real Donald Trump. Hashtag Trump 2020. Yes, full of shiff. Okay, now let's listen to this and delight yourself in it, because it's a wonderful thing you're about to hear.
New York City cop, former Secret Service agent, and author of Spygate, the attempted sabotage of Donald J. Trump. Dan, Mr. Schiff's talking about all that evidence. Why couldn't Robert Mueller find it?
Yeah, why couldn't
Because there wasn't any, Steve. There was never any evidence. You know, I've been seeing a bunch of tweets this morning from blue checkmark liberals and anti-Trump fake conservatives out there, and they keep saying this. Well, you know, the system worked. There was a serious allegation out there, and they investigated it, and they didn't find anything. No, the system never works, Steve, ever. There was never any credible evidence that any of this happened. Steve, if you, Brian, or Ainsley's entire lives were disrupted because you were accused of a bank robbery you never committed, right, and your friends and family and the network of people around you were bankrupted, hauled into court, and raided at 6 o'clock in the morning over a bank robbery you had nothing to do with, as a matter of fact, a bank robbery that never even happened in your neighborhood, you would be furious. Adam Schiff should resign in disgrace. Him and Eric Swalwell humiliated themselves, the United States Congress, the United States itself, on a national stage, accusing a sitting United States president of effectively treason. He should sign a citizen's contract to never enter the political realm again. He should engage in charity work for the rest of his life to try to redeem his broken, sorry soul. The only redemption for this whole thing I have is that the Lord Almighty, he will have to answer to him one day for his disgraceful conduct for the last 2 years.
Dan, he's not the only one. You have Tom Perez saying there was a mountain of evidence. You have Senator Blumenthal. Evidence is pretty clear. Swalwell, you mentioned, string of evidence. Jerry Nadler, we know there was collusion. And now he's saying can't rely on it. Possibly hasty partisan interpretation of the report and not so-called total exoneration that the president says. So he's not alone. The Democrats are spreading this message because they've seen the report and they don't like the results.
You know, Ainsley, in business, they have an expression. When you've had a really bad quarter, they say, listen, let's just take a bath with the stockholders. In other words, let's just pile all the bad information into one report, get it out there, let the stock take a beating and move on. It's time for the media to take a bath. Drop the L, fellas. Right. Schiff, Nadler, politicians, the media class, who have, by the way, listen, I get it. I work here now, but I'm not kissing this outlet's butt here at all. I don't need to. We were the only ones that played this straight, ever. The only ones that played this straight. The media, CNN, MSNBC, were all in on the collusion hoax. I occasionally saw Chiron in an airport when CNN was on, the only place their tens of viewers can see it. And it was a constant, nonstop collusion, as if this actually happened. Fellas, ladies, take the loss. It's right. Over. You got worked. There is no evidence. This is a complete hoax, and you bought in on it.
I read an opinion column on the CNN section today, and it said, keep in mind when you look at this picture, they said this: investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government. They said this: look at the word. He does not explain, Barr does not explain that Mueller meant by establish or legal standard he may have used. So by Barr putting in the word establish, they think it opens up a possible inquiry.
Brian, this is complete, utter desperation. This isn't like grasping at straws. This is just complete humiliation on their part. I read that. Not only that, they're also claiming the president is not vindicated from obstruction, as if they couldn't read the same 4-page report I did. He was vindicated completely. Attorney General Barr and Rosenstein. By the way, Brian, Rosenstein, the same guy who signed the Fort FISA.
So smart to keep him there, right? So smart to
Right.
keep him there in the final report, because they would have said that Barr told him to take a walk and did it himself. But instead he said, stick around, write this with me.
You stole my thunder, brother. What a genius move. Rod Rosenstein's signature is now on 2 critical documents. The 4th FISA, which gave them the authority to spy on the Trump team. In other words, he did something wrong here. And the exoneration letter from the Department of Justice, where his name is in there, indicating he said there's nothing to this. Let's move on. And one more thing on the obstruction charge. They said also they didn't even consider the fact that the president couldn't be indicted according to OLC, the Office of Legal Counsel.
That's a good point.
In other words, they looked at it anyway. Because even though the president couldn't be indicted, and they still could come up with no legitimately prosecutable charge of obstruction. The media is making this up, and although they had no credibility left, now they're just completely embarrassing themselves, misreading that 4-page letter.
It's like the Rams complaining that they lost the Super Bowl. They were crushed. They lost. It's over.
It's over, right? Move on. It wasn't the ref's call. You lost by 600 points. Move on. The game is over. It's not the ref. It's you. All right.
Let's bring in Dan.
This is so good, and I'll tell you something. I would highly recommend. There is, if you go out to YouTube and just put in Dan Bongino, he has a 2-part, and I think it was today and yesterday. Yesterday was part 1 and today was part 2, I believe. And I had started listening to it when I was getting ready this morning. And I'll tell you, well worth your time, because it's entitled Exonerated. And if you go out and look at it, it will encapsulate all the reasons why he was exonerated. Why, like, it's a very, very good. And if you want to understand this totally and completely, and if you want to have ammunition against or for your liberal friends, to give to your liberal friends, because they're all saying the same things. Well, he wasn't really exonerated. It's just that they didn't have enough evidence. But so if you really want the ammunition, go listen to those 2 programs, yesterday and today. Dan Bongino, excellent, and I have a lot of faith in what he says. He's a very good researcher. He knows what he's talking about. He was a Secret Service agent, and I'm not sure what else, but he's really a good person to listen to and a good person to understand what is happening. So anyway, let's go back and see what other trouble we can get into. Not literally. Well, maybe. All right, now you're going to find some of this interesting. Okay. I think this is from Donald Trump. Not this part, but we're going to get into something interesting that if you haven't heard it, you're going to be gobsmacked. Donald J. Trump, I think this is probably the most consequential media screw-up of the last 25 to 50 years. It is difficult to comprehend or overstate the damage that the media did to this country, to their own reputation, or to the Constitution. An absolute catastrophe. That is a quote by Sean Davis, and I guess he was on Tucker Carlson, because he has put at Tucker Carlson as well. So, and I would happen to agree with that assessment. And now, you ready for something gobsmacking? Breaking. George Soros donated $408,000 to Kim Fox, prosecutor who let Jussie Smollett walk. Well. And if you're not enraged about Jussie walking, then you haven't been paying attention. I cannot. It's almost. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about it. I was absolutely shocked. I just found out when I got back that he had been exonerated or whatever. Not exonerated really, but there's no charges. And I just could not believe it. Actually, 2 Chicago police officers have resigned in disgust over it. It should. Now, think about if that was a white person. Think about that. If a white person had made up that a couple black people had attacked them with a noose, and how do you think that would have went? Well, we know, don't we? Now, this by Matt Finn, Chicago police detective, tells Fox News, "We have a lot more evidence than we told the media about, and we were fully prepared to go to trial. We're very angry this happened." And that from a Chicago police detective. And actually, there were 2 that, and I may have clipped that out here to show you, that actually resigned. They were that upset. You know, it's bothering me that I'm hearing my kitten into something. Boy, won't that be a surprise for later. Yes, it will. Okay, and this from Charlie Kirk. "Hey, AOC, your Green New Deal just got 0 votes in the Senate. Looks like socialism isn't as popular as you make it seem." Yeah, not popular at all. 0. That's right, 0, as in goose egg. 0 votes. Poor AOC. I bet she's crying her eyes out on her big pillow tonight. Anyway, let's look at this. Sure do wish I knew what my kitten was into. "Hey, Sammy, can you rustle me up something to eat?" Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, he's got the, like, you know, the extra thumbs. He could. Don't know if I trust him with the stove, though. All right, now, here's something interesting. So, this just happened at AIPAC. Speaker Pelosi is very concerned that there are terror networks being set up between the border of Israel and Syria. Yes, Syria. I've always been very concerned about networks being set up between Israel and Syria, you know, or Syria. I guess it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Now, I want to ask you guys something. No, really, seriously. I mean, seriously, this is a serious question. I know I kid around, but I'm serious. Do you think that there is something wrong with her in terms of Alzheimer's or some other age-related illness? Or do you think she's just blasted right out of her skull all the time? Now, I don't know. Maybe some of you have had more experience around people that drink heavily and can tell me what you think. I really am asking what your opinion is. Is she just blasted out of her skull? We know she has a drinking problem. She has to, because she ran up huge tabs on alcohol on, the taxpayer's dime. But there are times when because it looks like she just forgets what she's going to say and her eyes go blank. And even though the words are coming out, the eyes go blank, like she's scared that she's not going to say the right thing. So I'm kind of torn. But you listen to this and you tell me, all right? I really, honestly am asking your opinion, because I don't know. I vacillate between 2 opinions. Sometimes I think she has Alzheimer's. Sometimes I think she's a lush. I don't know. But you listen to this and you tell me, okay? It's short and sweet. Well, it's not so sweet, but it's short. Sorry to have to do this to you guys. I really am, but, you know. Ooh, wonder what that was. I don't know if you heard that, but that's my kitten. Okay.
Syria and Hezbollah seeks to set up terror networks on the border between Israel and Syria, while training increasingly precise, longer-range rockets.
Now, let me play that again and listen, because that's not the only word that she mangles, cereal. And you know what? I can't fault. I do the same thing. I say things wrong or whatever and correct myself. But the whole thing seems to be slurred, and the whole thing seems to be a little mangled. So let's listen again. You tell me again what you think.
Syria, and Hezbollah seeks to set up terror networks on the border between Israel and Syria, while training increasingly precise, longer-range rockets.
So it's not the only word she screws up, and this is the U.S.-Israel Policy Conference, and she is the Speaker of the House. She's on C-SPAN here. This does not look good for our country, does it? Because to me, her eyes are red. I don't know. She could be jet lagged. I don't know where this is actually taking place, to tell you the truth. I don't know. I mean, I want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but this seems to be happening a lot. And she's either forgetting her words. She calls President Trump, President Bush. Many times she's done that. Sometimes she just doesn't know what to say at all. Sometimes she just kind of like muttering, and you have no idea what she's even talking about. I don't know. Is it age related, or is it alcohol related, or maybe both? I don't know. But I would think if she does have an age related condition, that the alcohol would not be helping it any. But maybe some of you are in a field where you would be more informed about these things and could let the rest of us know. All right, let's go back now and see what else we can get into. Let's look at this. I can't remember what this is, but could be a surprise. Could be something really interesting, or not. Here we go. Close some of these down. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Now, I apologize in advance because this is a little offensive. Okay, it just is. But let's listen. Well, we can't really listen, but let's read here. Hopefully you can, this is big enough for you to read, or perhaps I can read it for you because he is speaking in, I guess, Arabic. I don't know what, but it's a Muslim cleric says, if a newborn is not Muslim, devil puts his finger in his anus or in her vagina. Yes, that's what he's saying. And I just found it fascinating and horrifying in a train wreck sort of way. Now, let's go back and we'll start this.
وإن لم يكن من شيعتنا.
Okay, you know what I'm going to do? We don't need to hear it because we don't understand the language anyway. So I'm just going to let it run and I'll read to you what it's saying. But if the newborn is not one of our Shiites, the devil inserts his index finger into the anus of the newborn, who thus becomes a passive homosexual. If the newborn is not a Shiite, the devil inserts his index finger into his newborn's anus, and when he grows up, he becomes a passive homosexual. If the newborn is a female, the devil inserts his index finger into her vagina, and she becomes a whore. At that moment, the newborn cries loudly as he comes out of his mother's womb. Yeah, religion of peace, they say. I don't even know what to say about that. It's so vulgar and so insane. Absolutely insane. If you're not a Shiite, that's what the devil does to your newborns, apparently. So says him. So says he. All right. Okay, let's go back now. And see, now that I'm listener funded and I've been demonetized, I get away with a little bit more because I don't have to worry about them taking away my monetization. But anyway, I wouldn't have been able to get away with that before. All right, let's go on. Awesome news for your Southern friends And I like this person, Can Q Fan. That's another good person to follow on Facebook. They are a Canadian patriot. Yes, Canada, a lot of people in Canada are cheering for the United States as well, because well, we know that when the United States sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold, basically. So we've got this, from the deplorable Cajun: House fails to override Trump's veto of measure to terminate national emergency on border. Yeah, it didn't work out so well for them. Yep, that wall's going up, folks. It's going up. And did you know, I think I told you guys that Trump had donated $1 billion of his own money. His own money. Yeah. So not only is he not getting paid to be president, he is getting paid. They cut him a check every quarter, right? But he gives it right back. So not only is he not taking a salary, and I don't believe his children are either. As far as I remember reading, his children are not taking a salary either. So none of them are taking salaries, and yet his wealth is decreasing since he's been in office, and yet he gives $1 billion to the wall because it's something he believes in. Now, would Obama, would Hillary, would anybody else do something like that, even if they had the money to donate? No. All right, let's go on, shall we? Yes, we shall. And this from Candace Owens, another great person to follow on Twitter. She says, imagine if a white male actor faked a hate crime against himself by pretending black man attacked him in the middle of the night. Oh, hang on here. There we go. It's back. I don't know. Went all wonky for a minute, but it's back. And here's my cat, my kitten here, chewing on something. Probably one of his toys, actually. I'm going to just pretend like it's one of his toys. Imagine if a white male actor faked a hate crime against himself by pretending black man attacked him in the middle of the night, then was subsequently acquitted of all charges. Jussie Smollett is an utter perversion of justice who just destroyed the myth of white privilege. Very, very, very well spoken. I've been very impressed with this young lady, Candace Owens. And I don't know if you follow her or on Twitter, or I'm not sure if she's on Facebook or anywhere else. I just follow her on Twitter, but I've been very impressed with her. Quite an impressive young lady. Very, very smart. All right. Now, look at this. Twitter bans user for laughing at Rachel Maddow's tears of despair over the Mueller report, according to Zero Hedge. Twitter bans user for laughing at Rachel Maddow's tears of despair. She's in a glass case of emotion. Yep. And I love this picture of Trump. He's sitting there with a bowl of cereal, and the cereal's called Your Tears. Yeah. Oh, and who's on the milk carton? There's somebody on the milk carton too, but it's not big enough for me to see. All right. Now, look at this. No, really, look. Breaking news. President Trump calls for an investigation of the investigators, asserting this was an illegal takedown that failed. Well, that's exactly what it was. It was an illegal takedown, and it failed. And I, for one, am so very, very glad it failed, because we would be in a massive amount of trouble in this country had it not failed. All right. And this, Paul Sperry. Breaking. Representative Devin Nunes says House Intel has evidence Clinton operatives and high-level FBI and DOJ officials started Trump-Russia investigation in late 2015, early 2016, and that House GOP will be making criminal referrals to AG Barr for officials who perpetrated this hoax for 3+ years. Oh yes, that makes me very happy indeed. And you know why? 3+ years, all millions and millions and millions of dollars, and think of the stress that this caused the people like, Carter Page, who they never found anything on, and all the rest of the people that they were investigating, along with Trump and his family and his wife, his children. Think of the stress. Very, very few people would have held up under that and still been able to do their job. Seriously, you think of whatever your job is, and if you're retired, think of the job that you used to do. Would you have been able to operate under that level of stress and still do your job properly? I don't think I could. I really don't think I could. I'm just being honest. And I like to consider myself a very, very strong emotionally. But I don't think I could. Not that level. And still be able to do your job and do a good job. I mean, look at how much he's accomplished in 2 years. Unbelievable what he's accomplished. Anyway, let's go on. And here we have Greta Van Susteren, who I always thought I liked, but I'm not so sure now. She says, I don't agree with this headline. I think it's time to take a cue from former President Ford and put all these investigations, national nightmares, behind us. Regardless of what they might show, we need to look forward as a nation. Fix problems. Settling old scores does not do this. So basically, she's responding to this, time to probe Obama, Hillary, and she's saying, no, we just need to move forward and put this behind us. Wonder if she'd say the same thing if Trump was found guilty of collusion. Would she be saying, well, we need to just forget all this and go on? Do you think she'd be saying that? Because I don't think so. Well, sure, now that we know who the real colluders are, now we know who the real criminals are, sure, now it's time to just put it behind us. Just forget it. It's best to just move on and forget it. Right. Don't think that's going to happen, Greta. Nice try, though. Not going to happen. Sam. No. Sorry. I'm telling you, it's almost time for a kitten intervention. And, I don't know. All right. Now, what is this? Oh, yes. This is interesting too, isn't it? Well, I know you're saying, well, I don't know because you haven't showed it to me yet. It is. I think you'll find it interesting. If not, I'll give you your money back. I don't know where that came from. I'm sorry. I'm looking at while this is opening, I'm looking at my kitten who is eating my book. Oy. But I love him. I know he's a train wreck, but I love him. All right. Declassified documents. Obama ordered the CIA to train ISIS. Now, okay, this isn't a shock to some of us. It's not a shock to me because we've been seeing this, but of course nobody believed it. But here it is now. This is from News Punch. Yeah, government watchdog, Judicial Watch, and you know what? If Judicial Watch says something, you can take it to the bank because they are on the up and up. Government watchdog Judicial Watch published more than 100 pages of formerly classified documents from the U.S. Department of Defense and the State Department. The documents obtained through a federal lawsuit revealed the agency's earlier views on ISIS, namely that they were a desirable presence in eastern Syria in 2012 and that they should be supported in order to isolate the Syrian regime. The U.S. intelligence documents not only confirmed suspicions that the United States and some of its coalition allies had actually facilitated the rise of ISIS in Syria as a counterweight to the Syrian government of President Bashar al-Assad, but also that ISIS members were initially trained by members and contractors of the Central Intelligence Agency at facilities in Jordan in 2012. Well, how do you like that? And Examiner reports one of the Defense Intelligence Agency's DIA documents declared that President Barack Obama and his counterparts within the coalition considered the establishment of a Salafist organization in eastern Syria in order to further, actually instead of Syria, that should be Syrial, in order to further downfall of the downfall of the Assad regime. And this is exactly what the supporting powers to the Syrian opposition want in order to isolate the Syrian regime, said the DIA report, which had been formally classified until its release. Salafists are radical Sunnis and an offshoot of the Saudis' Wahhabi sect. The contents of the document had been promulgated by the Obama administration to the U.S. Central Command, Central Intelligence Agency, Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Department of Homeland Security, and its dictorates, as well as dictorates. I can never say that word. There are certain words I just have problems with, as well as the State Department and many other related agencies. Military intelligence officials had also warned that any further damage caused by the Syrian civil war might have been an adverse effect on the fragile government in neighboring Iraq. The intelligence analysis predicted that such a situation could lead to al-Qaeda in Iraq returning, especially in the Iraqi cities of Mosul and Ramadi. The DIA report also predicted that ISIS would declare a caliphate through its affiliation with other terrorist organizations in Iraq and Syria, including members of what the Obama administration terms core al-Qaeda, to differentiate from its offshoots such as al-Qaeda and in the Arabian Peninsula. The now declassified document appears to confirm that the U.S., the European Union, and other nations viewed Muslim extremists in ISIS as a strategic asset towards regime change in Syria. As a result, parts of Iraq have been in chaos since ISIS began to cross the Syrian border in early June 2014, not to mention the hundreds of thousands of Christians that have been mercilessly slaughtered, which nobody will report on. They don't want to report on that. Anyway, the documents obtained by Judicial Watch also provide the first official documentation that the Obama administration was well aware that weapons were being shipped from Benghazi to rebel troops, including members from ISIS, the Al-Nusra Front, and other Islamic terrorist groups in Syria. An October 2012 report confirms that weapons from the former Libya military stockpiles were shipped from the port of Benghazi, Libya, to the port of Banias and the port of Burj Islam, Syria. The weapons shipped during late August 2012 were sniper rifles, RPGs, and 125 millimeter and 155 millimeter howitzers, missiles. The deadly and shocking attacks on the U.S. diplomatic mission that saw 4 Americans, including a U.S. ambassador, slaughtered by jihadists occurred just weeks after the weapons shipment. Following the downfall and killing of Gaddafi in October 2011 until almost a year later in September 2012, the dissolved Libyan military weapons were stockpiled in Benghazi, Libya. According to the intelligence report, they were shipped from the port of Benghazi, Libya, to the ports in Syria. The ships used to transport the weapons were medium-sized and able to hold 10 or less shipping containers of cargo, according to the documents obtained by Judicial Watch. I don't know how how many people work for Judicial Watch, but let me tell you, they get so much information, and without them, a lot of this stuff would never have been unraveled. So we owe them a big debt of gratitude, for sure. But all this stuff is coming out. I mean, some of this stuff was surmised, but now we are getting proof of it, and it's just incrementally more and more and more. It's just piling up, and I think people are getting fatigued because the news, is just concentrating on Trump and collusion and Russia and all that stuff that has no basis in reality at all. But they ignore all the other stuff. But I guess there's nothing new about that, is there? Let's go back, shall we? Why, sure we shall. Now what is this? I don't know, but let's take a look. No, let's not. Let's go on to Charlie Kirk here. Why are Democrats, yes, I'd like to know the answer to this as well. Why are Democrats upset that Mueller is not recommending any further indictments? Every American should be relieved to hear that the president and his campaign did not collude with Russia to win. But then you've got Rachel Maddow. What's going on? Like, wouldn't any American be happy? Oh, wonderful. Our president is clean. He didn't collude with Russia. He didn't do anything wrong. Shouldn't that make everybody feel better? No. The left is furious. It's because they hate Trump more than they love America. That is the truth. All right, and let's go on, shall we? Liberal Logic 101. If your parents break the law to get you into college, you get expelled and put under FBI investigation. If your parents illegally cross international borders to get you into America, you get a free education, health care, and housing. Yeah, that is liberal logic. Now, both are wrong. But, yeah. All right. And then there's this. And this by Trumped. Kid Rock wearing Seth Rich pants. Things that make you say, And he literally is wearing the same pants as Seth Rich was, very similar, and he's standing beside Trump here. You think they're trolling? Well, I think they are. I really do think they are. Yeah. Trolling. Trump is an expert at trolling, and apparently so is Kid Rock. I think that was a little shout out to Seth Rich. We all know what happened to him and why. All right, now this. Are the floodgates starting to open? UK knows that Mueller report means declass, time to move May out. Theresa May, that is. Breaking news, a full-blown cabinet coup is underway tonight to remove UK PM Theresa May. A reporter from UK outlet The Sun is reporting, adding that cabinet ministers are planning to confront May on Monday to try and replace her with someone who wants to deliver Brexit. So there you go. Okay, you got to see this. Here is the real Russian hacker right here. We found them. Right there. There they are. It's been found. It should be on every newspaper, the front of every newspaper everywhere. The real Russian hacker has been found. Attention, everyone. She's been found. There she is. Hacking. And I don't know what this is, but it says important, so it must be, unless I lied. It takes a long time to get out there, doesn't it? Come on. Go. right. Oh, yes, yes. This is very important. I think it's very important for all Americans to see, I believe, personally. Oliver McGee, PhD, MBA, retweet. Ilhan caught on tape laughing without empathy on taking terrorism classes. Did Representative Ilhan forget terrorism killed 2,996 and injured 6,000 Americans on 9/11? Americans don't like lawmakers laughing about terrorism. It's a crime, not a joke. So let's listen to her. Oh, she thinks it's funny. Oh, look at her laugh. Oh, terrorism. Oh, terrorism. Oh. Yeah, right. Okay, let's listen to her. Oh.
Took a terrorism class, and
Is that
I remember when I was in college, I took a terrorism class, and
is that a such thing?
yeah, there was.
So you
They're playing with it. Hang on here. Let's go back. She says, when I was in college, I took a terrorism class. And the interviewer says, is there such a thing? Yeah.
I remember when I was in college, I took a terrorism class, and
is that a such thing?
yeah, there was.
So you
there
go
was,
there is a lab for that?
there was a class that you.
Do you go to a lab? Then?
No,
you go out
we,
a field
we,
trip
we learned the
Algeria?
ideology of.
I'm glad you do that.
And so it was the thing that was interesting in the class was every time the professor said Al Qaeda, he sort of like his shoulders went up, and you know.
Yeah,
he was
he's
sort
in
of
command
like,
here.
Al Qaeda, you know,
He's an
Hezbollah,
expert.
and it was, you know,
What's his name? What to put his name on the area?
We
Where
are
does he
not
live?
saying his name.
Every time he would say Al Qaeda, his shoulders went up like Al Qaeda. Yeah. Yeah. That's who we have in Congress. It's shocking, but nobody seems to mind. That's the odd thing. Or do they? Maybe they're afraid to say. I don't know. And last but not least, I have to bring this to you. Fart rape. How crazy are feminists? Well, I'm going to tell you how crazy. Now, I do not consider myself, I do believe that men and women are equal under the law, but I am not, I would never want to put myself in the category of a feminist, because I've never seen a feminist actually be feminine. You know what I mean? Now, I'm just saying, feminists are never feminine. They're not. I just have never seen a feminist wear makeup and dress nicely and put themselves together. Is that wrong? I guess so in their world. But anyway, fart rape. It's a new thing, apparently. How crazy are feminists? By farting louder, the man is using passive-aggressive violence to position himself as dominant. This intimidates the woman to subconsciously not release as much flatulence, and thus women, fearing for her safety, doesn't fart as loud as a sign of submissiveness. This, in turn, contributes to rape culture and women being oppressed. Say what? How crazy is that? Listen again. Now listen and take it all in. By farting louder, the man is using passive-aggressive violence because he's wanting to position himself as dominant. Okay, so he farts loudly and this makes him dominant. It intimidates the woman, so she subconsciously is intimidated and she doesn't want to fart as loudly, so she doesn't release as much flatulence, and thus she fears for her safety, so she doesn't fart as loudly, and this is a sign of submissiveness, and in turn somehow this contributes to rape culture and women being oppressed, because apparently not being able to fart loudly is, I guess that is a sign of oppression. So women that are around men that don't fart as loudly as men, it has nothing to do with the fact that they just can't fart as loud as men. No, it doesn't have anything to do with that at all. Maybe they're not gassy. You know, maybe they didn't eat the bratwurst for supper. But this lack of being able to fart as loudly and having to be submissive in their farting behavior is leading to rape culture, because apparently maybe this is just, I'm just surmising here, I'm just theorizing about possibly maybe the fact that the woman doesn't fart as loud turns men on and causes them to rape them. Do you think that's it? Because I can't figure this out no how. I thought I'd bring it to you anyway. Do you not feel more enlightened? If not, then perhaps you should fart. And you may. All right. I don't know. It was there and I had to bring it. So there you go. Now, that is it for tonight. Sure, I have other stuff, but it's 11:09 p.m. Eastern Time if you're on medication. And if you're not, it's still 11:09, and it would take me a while to decode the drop from today, so I just can't see me getting to that tonight. So that's it, but tomorrow I'll do better. I will, I promise I will. So that's it for tonight. Choose truth, deception bites. And I will see you tomorrow. I'll be here. I hope you are as well. Bye-bye. Good night. Sleep well.